Hello there. Welcome to the Suburban Homestead. Look at these beautiful irises. I'm so happy to see them this year. So today I'm going to show you the chores that need to be done in the front yard garden, including weeding this grass. As you can see, my weedy meadow needs to be cut back. I'm going to be harvesting a lot of those weeds for the rabbits. But look at those fava beans. I've never grown fava beans before and they look amazing. And all the cauliflowers are looking good there too. And the moringa tree is putting on some new leaves. Over here, so many purple flowers. Some comfrey. Got 3 purple cauliflowers. Some more weeds to harvest for the buns. The garlic is doing well. These guys need to be tied. They are starting to lean, and I promised that I would snip the tops because they just get so tall that they fall over and then they get powdery mildew. So another chore after I harvest is to spray them down with milk and tie them up with twine. Check out these artichokes. They're starting to form fruits. There's that one. There's that one. There's that one. There's a little guy there with that one. But look at this big one. That's probably almost time to pick it. I'm not sure when. And then off to the side, it has side shoots. So very productive artichoke day here. And just look at these beautiful pods. They're so delicious. Oh, I'm trying to get it in focus. It doesn't want to focus. There's more comfrey and garlic down there. This row of garlic is happy. The things I planted on top of this mound are not happy. But pretty soon I'm going to plant that up with pink banana squash. And the weirdest thing happened the day after I spoke to you last. Somebody stole the top stone off of my cairn. I guess they really wanted it. It's fun seeing all these flowers start to pop up, but they do like to spill out onto the sidewalk, so I have to cut those back. More weedy meadow to shear down. The nasturtiums are starting to take over here and there. And my flower stump. You can actually see the sunflower plants. And there are zinnia plants and cosmos. And I do want to, I have to weed this and cut the grass back, but I also want to prepare a spot and plant some hollyhocks somewhere around the stump. And here's the other moringa tree with fava beans and beets. Everything's looking pretty happy. Some of those beets are getting big enough to take some salad greens off of. And I just think the fava bean blooms are exquisite. And the moringa's got a little tassel of growth on its tip. Here's something new that I accomplished after we cut and pruned the fruiting mulberry. I used those sticks to weave a new wattle. And so this bed has straw. We still have our fingers crossed for oyster mushrooms to come up in that. But I do definitely need to cut back the nasturtiums that are invading. And the fig tree is leafing out. It's got some baby figs on it. Cute little baby figs. Love it. I had fun building this wattle. This end is not as refined. I keep learning new ways to do it. Again, invasive nasturtium bushes. I'll be cutting those back after I stop talking with you. And then the purple geranium is also invading, but it does have a few buds on it. Starting. It makes a beautiful, vivid purple flower. But the kale and the Swiss chard looks awesome. Need to cut back the cilantro. It's starting to bolt. And then there's some Italian parsley in the back. And still hoping on those mushrooms. Got 3 different colors that we put spore out. And here, super happy to see all the onion seeds that I propagated last year. I sprinkled them out here and I got a good dense planting. Ah, look here. The Malaysian guava. It's starting to set blooms. I'm hoping that having fed this tree will cause it to have much more juicy and larger fruits than prior years. And back here at the South Mound is what I call it, but it's got potatoes coming up. It's got beans coming up. It's got pink cowpeas. Those are pink cowpeas. Those are wax beans. And Yukon Gold potatoes. And some mammoth sunflowers here and there. But there's also the dreaded Bermuda grass coming up from the bottom. So that's another chore. Yank that out, and I want to dump a bunch of rabbit litter over this area. So after I groom this nasturtium and handle some of those other chores, I'm going to be popping some sweet potato slips, I think, out here, maybe some squash. So I'm going to have to clear out some of the grass, maybe lay down cardboard with a hole to plant the plants, and use more of this perimeter space. So those are the chores I have for the front yard garden. Was there ever a sweeter sight than little bunny rabbits having a good time in a pasture? I love those little guys. Very cute. Now that the weather is heating up, it's going to be time to remove the poly cover from the tunnel and put on like a kind of a netting to keep the chickens out. But it just gets so hot in there. I need to move some of those. Those lettuces are awash. I don't know about those kohlrabis. Maybe if I move them outside, they'll bulb up. I think the carrots will do fine if I replace the poly tunnel with the netting. But things are having a bit of a rough time because of how hot it is. But those are the sweet potato slips. I rescued this tomato from the dead. The beets look good. Yeah. This raised wattle definitely has some pruning and weeding and picking the ripe peppers off to do. But really happy with especially how these garlics are going. And then I'm going to be yanking out a bunch of this mint and potting it or moving it or whatever. Things are a bit unruly in here. I have delayed spraying the powdery mildew, and so these vines, the wind caused them to bend. So I'm going to spray this section and hope it recovers. The cilantro and garlic and parsnips and echinacea are doing okay in there. And a yarrow. Those fennels are developing some nice bulbs. And looky here, cosmos in bloom next to a leek. Blackberry, garlic, and garden sage. Different kind of peppers looking a little poorly. Maybe I should feed those. brassicas, got some broccolis, lots of side shoots. And then this Romanesco, I think, is starting to turn into a Romanesco. I hope it turns into a big fat one. Lots of broccoli side shoots. Great big oregano, thyme. Some of these onions are getting pretty big at the bottom. I did cut off all their ramps. I have a bare spot there. Maybe I'll plant some of the brassicas from the tunnel in that bare spot. And this guy, it's time to take him off completely. He's just been destroyed by that powdery mildew that I let go out of control. That's all right though. That will leave room. I'm probably going to plant tomatoes against that. And I only trimmed one half of this lemongrass because I do want to stuff the rest of it into the empty beehive and hopefully attract a swarm. And we have to move a pallet over there to block the dog from going and barking at his friends and disturbing the beehive. Here's another view of these garlics. They are so happy in that raised bottle. Tons of borage. I cut off stalks and give those to the rabbits. The chickens love it. Yeah, so that is the main garden. Last time I showed you the asparagus and strawberry bed, you couldn't even see the stalks from my camera's view. But look at them now. They're already starting to fern up. And the strawberries look pretty happy. I always have to jerry-rig things to keep the animals out. So I zip-tied those. And then another chore I need to do is I'm going to plant cucumbers, I think, here, or possibly cantaloupe. We'll see. Here in the keyhole garden, this husky cherry tomato is not the healthiest, but it's still making fruits. And then I did move a bunch of rabbit litter back here today. I have a lot more that I want to move out front, but the chickens had scratched and bared the roots when they got in here last. Bared the roots of the poblano. We got a big lizard in here, a couple of them. Anyways, now they're covered with mulch. Got a couple, 3 elephant garlics that survived the chicken's terror. And this midnight snack is very overwhelming. I don't even know how to begin with it. It's way too thick. It's pretty insane. It's just a solid mass. So I'll probably start from the bottom of it and try to take some of the density off of this because it's inaccessible and there's no airflow. Oh my god, it grows. And we still have last year's sweet potato, one vine there, and then I'm gonna, after I prune this tomato, I'm gonna stick a bunch of sweet potato slips back here to carpet and grow over the wall. I love this time of year with all the citrus in bloom. This is the orange. This avocado is in bloom like crazy. Even the peach tree is putting up another bloom. We need to get rid of the older one. This one seems to possibly have an infestation as well, but I don't know. The guys have to help me cut these down when it comes to it. And say hello to the 2 newest members of the family. Very adorable. So with that, cheers and blessings.